Now moving on to business news, where the Institution of Surveyors of Kenya is urging the government to look for alternative ways of funding the affordable housing program. Now, the institution's president, Abraham Samoei, says the proposed 3% deduction of worker salary cannot sustain the affordable housing project, as it requires a huge capital to actualize, and there is need to deepen the public-private partnership instead of additional levies.
Kenya grapples with an average of 200,000 housing unit deficit annually, with the government keen on starting an affordable housing scheme to meet the demand. The government has proposed a 3% deduction on worker salary, with the employer matching the amount for Housing Development Fund. The Institution of Surveyors of Kenya says the deductions are not adequate and there is need for alternative funding for the housing projects.
Savings of 3%, if you look at the incomes, the average incomes of Kenyans, of civil servants, of everyone, is very low for them to achieve the house in the short term, in their lifetime, many of them in their lifetime. Because if you look at people earning over 100,000, are very few.
The Institution of Surveyors of Kenya is proposing the deepening of the public-private partnership model for the private sector to undertake the project at a subsidized cost.
We are struggling with debts. So you are in a debt situation, you want to take on high capital intensive projects, housing, to serve a population that is largely not able to afford in the open marketplace. Is very difficult.
They are also calling for tighter regulations for land buying companies to reduce cases of fraud.
Some of these issues are funneled through fraud by the people who are also working within the government offices or the lands offices, and also other brokers who are familiar with the lands in those particular.
You hear a lot of Kenyans speaking, they have lost a lot of money in buying land, and if you do not stop or you not cure that sentiment in the market and inspire confidence, you will not achieve much investment there.